Hey, what's up? It's Luka and welcome to the new video. I don't know why, but I look like a nerd today. We're just gonna roll with it. And we're gonna talk about how to save money by not buying certain things anymore. I love traveling, for example, and when I was a student at uni, I went on a lot of trips, even though I didn't have that much money. I'm saying that like if it was a long time ago, I literally just finished uni. But anyways, every time I went on a trip, I had this like period where I was saving up for that upcoming trip, so I could actually have fun and do a lot of cool things while I was traveling. Obviously, I also tried to travel as cheaply as I could, but you know, it never hurts to have more money. As you probably know, one way to save money is just to make more money, but we're not going to talk about that in this video. Maybe I'll make a separate video about that at some point, because today we're talking about the second way to save money, which is to spend less money. And I want to give you some concrete examples of things I don't buy anymore, or things you don't have to buy anymore when you're saving up. To a certain extent, I also try to avoid buying these things in general, like in my everyday life. No matter if I'm saving up for something specific at the moment or not, I try to avoid these things. But especially if I have an upcoming trip, then I'll cut back on a lot of these expenses. And in a way, this is also relevant to my life at the moment right now because of the lockdown. I'm not working as much in my part-time job anymore, so I'm not earning as much money, so I'm also trying to spend less money. So I prepared a list of 10 items I don't like to buy, and we're just gonna jump right in. The first thing on my list is food delivery. It's very convenient, I get it. Sometimes you just don't feel like preparing food at all, but it's literally so expensive. Probably the quality is not that great, and sometimes it doesn't even taste that great. So yeah, I don't like to do that. So for me personally, it's definitely worth putting in a lot more effort and just cook my own food. And if you don't like cooking every day, you can meal prep, and I'm sure there's ways around it. My second item is also related to food, and that is buying pricey food at the supermarket. Going to the supermarket is already a little bit better than getting a food delivery, but there are still things at the supermarket that can be a bit pricey, and they add up if you buy them every time you go. I don't know, for example, I love avocados, and sometimes they're just really expensive, so sometimes I don't buy them. I know they're also really bad for the climate. It's just my guilty pleasure, I guess. I'm also really into these vegan meat substitutes, and they're just really expensive. I'm trying to cut back on them. Number 3 is like random decoration stuff. I think you know what I mean. For example, I got this candle from IKEA like 2 years ago. I still haven't used it up. If you really like to use a lot of candles regularly, then by all means, go for it. I just don't, but then whenever I go to these kind of places, I'm always thinking like, oh, it'd be nice to get this. It'll look so cute in my room. I can wind down with my evening routine and light some candles, and it'll be so nice. Yeah, you'll do that once and then you'll forget about it. Number 4 is kind of similar but a bit different, and that is stuff you only need for one occasion and then you don't really need it anymore after that. I don't know, maybe some tools to fix your bicycle or whatever, or a costume for a specific theme party. Often you can just borrow it from someone, and that's a lot easier and cheaper. Did anyone say clothing? Yes. Speaking of clothing, I try not to buy new clothes especially from expensive brands. If I'm really trying to save up, I avoid clothes shopping altogether because usually I don't need new clothes. I just want new clothes. But if I do really want to shop for some clothes, then I try to find it online and secondhand. That way you can get new clothes even though they're not actually new, but they're new to you. So what's the difference? My next point is Netflix. And not just Netflix, obviously. Any subscription service that you're using counts. And I'm not saying get rid of all of them, but there are probably some things that you're subscribed to that you're not actually using anymore. So go look into that. And I'm sure you have some really nice friends or family members around you that are willing to share their passwords with you, especially if you're telling them that you're trying to save up money for this really awesome trip you're doing. I'm sure there's someone who's going to help you out. And my next point is transportation. Obviously, I don't have a car. It's useless to have a car if you're living in the city anyways. But even public transportation, you probably have a bike. Go and use it. Maybe not so much in the winter, but in the summer, I try to cycle pretty much everywhere I go. If it's, you know, within reason, I don't cycle for 3 hours to meet up with someone, obviously. Also taxis and Ubers, I wouldn't even think about these options. One time I was at a party and I was talking to this girl, and we were talking about like where we live and how we would get home, and she was like, oh, we're kind of far from the train station here, I'll probably just take a taxi. And I was so confused for a moment because I didn't even consider that option. If there's no train anymore, you just wait until 4 or 5 a.m. until there are trains again. Or if it's under 2 hours, you could just walk. So yeah, you know. Number 8 is alcohol, and yeah, you should probably quit alcohol in general, but I'm talking specifically alcohol in bars and restaurants because it's just crazy expensive compared to the supermarket. There's pre-drinks, there's house parties. In the summer you can meet in the park. I just feel really bad if I spend more than, I don't know, 5 euros on a drink somewhere. You could almost buy dinner for that money, like what? Number 9 is entertainment, and okay, now with Corona and the lockdown, that is not even an option anyways, but I'm talking cinemas or clubs where you have to pay like horrendous entrance fees. Once in a while that's okay obviously, but don't feel the need that every time you meet up with your friends you have to do something that costs money. There are lots of free types of entertainment as well, you just have to be a little bit more creative with the activities you do. And the last thing is kind of obvious, but I'm just gonna put that out there because I'm always kind of tempted, and that's updating your electronic gadgets even though you don't necessarily need to. Sometimes I just really want to buy a fancy new camera because it looks fun, and you know what, it probably is gonna be a lot of fun, but do I absolutely need it? Think about all the other things you could be doing with that money. Yep, if you're in a saving money phase in your life, then it's probably not the time to update your electronics. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the things that I suggested. Obviously, you don't have to do all of these things at once, and also you don't have to deprive yourself of buying these things forever, because that's just really frustrating and you don't want to deprive yourself too much of the things that usually bring you joy. It's all about finding a balance. Yeah, okay, I really feel like going on holiday right now. I hope that I will be able to do that again this year, and good luck to all of you who are also trying to save up some money at the moment. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!